Polluted Thoughts Podcast. Real talk with real people. I'm your host, Colin Garrett.
3, 2, 1.
We're live. PTP number 43. No, I'm just fucking around. We're live though. No solo, me and Franco, these are my favorite. No disrespect to the guests or anything. I love talking to people, but there's nothing more fun than when we're just
Go down some
it's the most
rabbit holes and
comfortable,
shit,
exactly.
yeah.
Dude, we're jumping straight into the rabbit hole. I was the one doing it type shit. We're getting into. I saw this reel on Instagram. It was about Tom Hanks, and it was started with this video of this guy named Isaac Kappy. He, I think he was an actor.
Yeah, he was.
He was, yeah. And it was a video of him coming out. He was like outing all these people, saying, you know, this guy did this and this guy did this. And he goes, I'm really sorry, guys. I don't mean to burst your bubble, but Tom Hanks is a pedophile.
Oh, shit. That's
Straight
a big
up.
allegation.
Very, very big allegation.
From the homie from Toy Story, too.
Yeah,
That's my
man.
childhood over.
Dude,
you know?
freaking, you know. I was thinking that, too. I was dead-ass thinking that, too. I was
Yeah,
like,
Forrest Gump?
Damn, yeah.
Forrest Gump's a pedo?
So this Forrest Gump gets involved with
Oh,
this,
no.
bro. It gets crazy, bro.
Oh, no.
So, okay, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, you know. Let me tone it in, you know. So he's like, I don't want to burst your bubble, da-da-da-da-da, but the Toy Story guy's a pedophile. And Alex Kappy, can you pull this up for me, winds up dead.
Right.
Can you just look up Alex Kappy dead?
Isaac Kappy.
Isaac Kappy. I'm sorry, I keep saying Alex Kappy. I don't know why. I must have known somebody. You know, Alex Kappy down on 47th and 3rd, you know?
Do you want me to just, like,
Yeah, just throw
the
it up on the
general
screen.
Google...
Yeah.
Or
Try to
phrase?
find me that one right there underneath the Wikipedia one. This is the one that I wanted. Thank you. Read this headline for me, Frank.
All right. So actor Isaac Kappy dead after he, quote-unquote, forced himself off a bridge and was hit by a car. Jesus Christ.
This is what I'm saying, man. This is like the Russian.
Mysterious.
This is like the Russian one where it was like child molester found after killing himself, stabbing himself in the chest 177 times. That's kind of what this headline's like. Yeah.
People magazine.
Kappy left one final post 2 days before his death.
So we called him out 2 days before he died.
Yeah.
You want me to zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, can you? Sorry. My eyes aren't that bad. I'm surprised. You get to test people's eyes when they come on the podcast. Like, I can read that, but, you know, I'm going to have a little bit of stutter. But when they were staring at Braden and Donovan, they were like, what are you guys? You
we
can
were
read
watching
that?
videos
Yeah,
and
I was
shit.
like, you guys can't read that shit? It's right there. Actor Isaac Kappy died after he forced himself off a bridge on Monday morning in Arizona. He was 42. The actor, who had a small role in Thor, which I did not know, died at the scene in Belmont. I don't know where that is. After being struck in Belmont, Arizona. It's not Florida, so it can't be crazy. You know what I mean? They usually have a county. They put like a specific county to the Florida every time. In Dade County, in Miami County, in Agawama County. It continued. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of ourselves. On May 13th, 2019, at 7:26 a.m. So this was 4 years ago.
Right.
Almost. Troopers were called to Interstate 40 eastbound on Transwestern Road, milepost 185, for a subject who forced himself off the Transwestern Road bridge onto Interstate 40, the statement read. He was then struck by a passing car. The man has been identified as 42-year-old Alex Kappy of Albuquerque, New Mexico. They got one of my Lobos, man. They got one of my Vatos, bro. What are they doing? Killing my ABQ people. Graves said the incident was being investigated as a suicide. Before his death, Kappy wrote a lengthy Instagram post, as which he captioned, "Beware the man that has nothing to lose, for he has nothing to protect." Within the post, Kappy wrote, "Over the course of the last week, though," which sounds very schizophrenic.
Well, no, because I think he's referring to himself in that statement.
I know. Which sounds very schizophrenic.
But it also sounds mildly suicidal. You know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah, well, it sounds like he's on a mission.
True.
Less of a suicide. That's what at least as I interpret it. It was like, beware the man who's I've got nothing to lose. What do you got? You know what I mean? Within the post, he wrote, over the course of the last week, though introspection that should have happened many years ago, I have come to some stark revelations about my character. It is a testament to my utter arrogance that these revelations had not come sooner. So you start talking about revelations and testaments.
No, but it makes him seem like kind of unstable.
It does. Well, you know, what are they trying to do? Maybe in the light, you
right.
know. We should have made some tinfoil hats before we got on the pod, man. You see, I believed myself to be a good guy, he continued. I have not been a good guy. In fact, I have been a pretty bad guy throughout my life. I have sold drugs, I have tax delinquencies, I have debts, I have abused my body, cigarettes, drugs, and alcohol. I've been abusive to people I love, including my family. Kappy added he committed an act so flippantly? I've never seen that word before.
I've never seen that either.
Flippantly, right? I think.
Flippantly.
Flippantly.
Fuck
no,
that word.
I think it's flippantly because there's two P's, right?
Yeah.
P-A-T.
Yeah, hard P.
Without thought, that will become synonymous with short-sightedness and petty, vile greed. So, anyways, apparently when he was making all these videos, he was outing all these people. There were crazy things of him.
Because I'm yet to see like a mentioned Tom Hanks. Hold on, let me just Control F Tom Hanks. Yeah, no, they don't even mention Tom Hanks.
That's what I'm saying, man. So let me get into it, though.
Please do.
So, it was he died on Route 66.
Okay.
Forrest Gump ran routes, you know, the famous scene where he's on Route 66.
I do.
Now go back to that Brave thing that you had pulled up with the Tom Hanks roadkill. Because Tom Hanks posted a couple months before Route 66 roadkill. I hope not. Hanks or something like that.
This is the Facebook post right here.
Yeah. So there's that, right? And then the day that this guy dies, Tom Hanks posts a red bandana, which is synonymous with suicide or like some sort of tragic death of sorts. You know, like the red bandana with the BC guy who ran into 9/11. He ran into the burning buildings 9/11 and saved a bunch of people, and then he died. So they all wear the red bandana at BC on like 9/11 and like around there. Exactly. So the red bandana is like synonymous with suicides and stuff like that. He posted a red bandana. It was on that
covers his face with bandana as Rita Wilson.
No, that's not it.
That's something different. Okay. Let's stop going down holes.
Well, it was literally just an Instagram post. I'll find it and I'll put it up on here. It was just a red bandana on like a counter, like he was buying a red bandana on the day that dude died. Okay. On the police report, the dude's name who hit him with his car, the police report was I'll put that up too. Looked like someone in 3rd grade wrote it. This police officer had the worst handwriting I've ever seen. If you can find that, it'll be worth the laugh. It is hilarious. Alex Kappy, like, death report, maybe?
Yeah, right.
Police report. Yeah, something. Because it's hilarious. If you can just go to, like, images, maybe. It was, like, one of those handwritten, it looked like a, citation or a warning or something, but it was just the guy's story.
Right.
The dude who hit him with his car's name? Forrest.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Was it this?
No. That looks like a note by that guy.
Alright, fuck it. You can find it.
I'll find it. I have the reel saved up on my phone, and I'll just screenshot what they posted and stuff. Yeah, Tom Hanks now officially a citizen of Greece.
So he switched over just because of this bullshit.
That's not what I'm saying.
Speculation, but
allegedly, which is the best word ever. Allegedly to all of this. Allegedly, Tom Hanks is now a Greece citizen.
Wow, man. Well, and when I say that, like, obviously, I'm a little biased towards any conspiracy because I kind of want them all to be true. You know,
really?
I don't want to say that I want Tom Hanks to be a pedophile. I don't want to say, like, you know what I'm saying? But, like, at the same time, like, there's, like, this, like, urge in me to like be like, oh, it's all fake.
Yeah.
It was all a facade. Everyone's actually a piece of shit.
Well, you know this kind of thing where you're getting older and you start noticing things that you didn't notice when you were a kid,
Yeah.
what people do, their vices, their whatever, and then they're telling you like their own things within the family or family friends, like, yeah, you know, fucking Aunt Nancy's old husband, Donnie, you know, he used to fucking steal money from the taxes, and then he went bad, and then he got busted that time. Remember that time Meme kicked him out of Thanksgiving? You know what I mean? Like shit like that. And you're like, oh, that dude was a scumbag. I never knew that. Like, that guy seemed like a good guy.
No, totally.
Or whatever.
Totally.
Like, you know, my grandma was married to this dude. Like, my mom's mom was married to this dude, Sammy. My whole life, he wasn't around my whole life. He was around kindergarten-ish, showed up. And he was a wicked cool guy, bought us whatever. He's like, oh, you going to the game tonight? Here's $100. Go get some food, get whatever you want on me.
Yeah.
You know, and he would be like, come through to my area, like come get some money to go to Toys R Us, go have a good time. Like he'd always just bless me, hook me up all the time. Best food, get me into here.
Was he getting money from sus places?
So, all right, so like, so the story goes that he died.
Okay.
In the same bed as me. Like, I was at my grandma's house. We were all, like, I would sleep in my grandma's bed. I was, like, 5, and I would just sleep in the middle of the two of them. They had this, like, huge bed. They lived over by Kmart, in those apartment buildings behind Kmart. And every Monday night, I'd go and sleep over there. We'd watch Dancing with the Stars, and then I'd play some video game on PS2, and then I'd go to bed. And there was only one. I think I might have had my own bed, but I'd been sleepwalking a lot. And I'd walked into the door at the house, so they were kind of afraid, probably, that I was going to walk out. And it was just like, I had also had an allergic reaction at their house. So they were just like, stay in the bed. Because they were probably scared that, you know, I was going to fucking do something, walk out of the crib or whatever.
Yeah.
This dude had a heart attack right next to me and died.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I don't really remember. I just went into the living room, started playing The Simpsons, like driving game or whatever, you know. And time goes on and find out that I remember people saying that he went to jail and stuff when I was a kid. And I was like, what's the fuck? But then I was like, nah, he took the pinch for somebody. And when he came out, apparently, I'm not sure about if he like really took the pinch for somebody or not, but apparently when he came out, they were like, thank you. Here's like money. Here's like a little bit of like a business, and he worked in a storage business. Okay. Right in Leominster, and it was just this huge storage place.
It's the Leominster Mafia.
He was tied to some sort of mafia. My dad was like, or when I got older, I kind of like, you know, started putting the pieces together. I was like, dude, there's no way this dude, Sammy, his name was Sammy, like, and he had like, I won't say his last name, he got the craziest, the most Italian last name ever, bro. And he just was the most typical guy, tossing out money left and right. Yeah. You want to go to dinner? You want to go to the fucking restaurant?
As a little kid,
exactly. I have no clue. Exactly. But when I get older, I ask my dad. He's like, yeah, dude, that dude fucking was pushing coke for sure. Like, for the Italian people, for sure, dude. He's like, he went inside one time. I opened the center console looking for a lighter. There's a brick of coke in the fucking center console. I was like, jeez, you know.
Yeah.
But
puts it in a new light.
But puts it in a new way with those people that are within like your own thing. So it doesn't surprise me that they're human beings. Celebrities are human beings, like, you know, and there's so many of them.
Well, and they're celebrities that have like people who have a business interest in keeping their image clean.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like they're not.
That is their business.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not even like you're never really yourself. You're like kind of putting out this image, you know, like who Tom Hanks is.
Yeah,
you know,
is
like,
Tom Hanks even his real name?
Who knows? Most of these people you find out it's not.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
Jonah Hill, I'm pretty sure he's Jewish. He's got a wicked hard Jew name.
He does have a super Jew name. Yeah.
Well, not anymore, but
not as Jonah Hill.
Yeah, that's a fair weather fan.
Well, it's probably just easier for it to roll off the tongue is the idea of them changing the name at all. It just sounds like easier to say.
Right.
It sounds more fluent or whatever.
And even it's like you think of these icons like I don't know, I want to say like Madonna. You know, like she doesn't even need a last name. Beyonce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jay-Z.
And any of these rappers.
Is Z the last name though?
Who knows, man? What does Z stand for?
Not xylophone.
No, not xylophone, because that's an X.
Zeitgeist.
What does the Z stand for?
Yeah, that's actually a good question.
That's
like identification.
Identification?
It's like I, and then it's, you know, ID.
He was born on December 4th in 1969, and his showbiz stage name is in homage to his musical mentor, Jay-Z. As well as J/Z subway lines that have a stop at Marcy Avenue in Brooklyn.
Marcy.
Word.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. J-Zo. So he made it so it was Jay-Z.
Yeah, but then there's also the Jay-Z subway line.
So is his name not like J?
No, it is. It's J-Z.
No. His name, like his God-given birth
his
name.
name's Sean Carter.
It's fucking weird. Yeah, I see that right there. Yeah.
Oh, it says right there. Yeah. Sean Corey Carter.
Fucking weird, bro. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like you don't. If you didn't know, like, look this up and
Sean
find
Carter
this.
has nothing to do. No J, no Z.
Right, and like shit. Say like you're like reading through some like legal documents, and it's like Sean Carter recently arrested for child molestation. You wouldn't be like, oh, that's Jay-Z if you didn't know that already.
You just swipe through the notification, swipe it off the screen.
Yeah, you'd be like, fuck this
Sean
guy.
Carter, yeah. Oh, another petty.
But then you see his picture.
Another pedophile. They all call them pedos in Britain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the word pedophile is pedophile in
Oh.
England. They all call them pedos.
Words. Weird.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, color with the U. I mean, I don't say that, but
still, it's fucking stupid. It's pretentious.
It is pretentious.
That's why we seceded from those fucks.
Second conspiracy theory.
This
one's less like, this guy did something crazy. He raped children. But we'll find out with Tom Hanks when that list comes out. Whenever those lists come out, I will bet top dollar his name's somewhere on that flight list.
Were you talking about the Epstein's?
Yeah, I bet Tom Hanks' name is on there. I'm willing to put money. And Jimmy Kimmel. If I had to bet, those are my two favorites. I'd put literally all the money I have that at least one or both of those names is on there. And dude, Jimmy Kimmel almost like 100%. You see what Jimmy Kimmel did?
No.
Jimmy Kimmel came out like blasting Aaron Rodgers on like his Tonight Show. He came out like blazing.
Like during the COVID thing or recently?
No, recently. Like Aaron went on a podcast and Aaron Rodgers was saying like, I'm just sitting back waiting for those lists to come out. He's like, I can't wait for those lists to come out. We'll see a lot of names on there. We'll see what happens. Then Jimmy Kimmel comes out and he's like, yeah, tin hat quarterback Aaron Rodgers now. He starts blasting Aaron Rodgers. You know why? Because he's on the fucking list.
No, for real. And like if you have an invested interest in not having people believe that, you're gonna make it seem
when you have one of the biggest platforms in the world for people who like don't want real information.
Totally.
Or
that's why the word conspiracy theories exists, bro.
Don't want real information. That's probably not true. But most people who don't know any better watch a Tonight Show or something to get information or to whatever.
Well, bro, these people who are celebrities, they understand how to make an image, and that means their own image, but it also means around like a certain controversial event. They know how to like make
and how their audience is gonna perceive it because they know their audience better than anybody. You ever like think that they get off stage and like, oh fuck these fucking idiots, gotta fuck it, and then they start acting normal on, like, again,
live streams and shit. Like people who have those type of celebrities, they'll all of a sudden their chat will turn on them and they'll just start going off.
You know what? Fuck you, chat.
Dead ass, bro.
Yeah.
You guys don't even fucking know me. Bro, like there's this girl who like her dad's got dementia or something. He's dropped the N-word on live stream, and people didn't like that on TikTok. He's got dementia. It's pretty funny, but like she immediately backtracked and was like, "You fuckers! Like this fucking guy's got dementia. Like you can't do this because like they're all mad at her or whatever." Which I understand both sides of the story, but like
made me think of this video I was watching the other day of this girl with Tourette's, and like she was just dropping the N-word, bro. And they were at a Marshall's, and she was just the cashier was black. And she was just like, oh,
too bad,
bro.
man.
It was just like I couldn't like I wasn't laughing watching the video because I was so like just cringe. I was like, oh god. And her mom's laughing. She's like, I'm sorry, and he's like laughing about it. She's like, it was like, oh my god. She eventually like, a white lady comes over and just takes over the fucking thing. And a black lady kind of walks away because she's like,
how do you not punch someone in the face?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, because like she said it and she's like, right before she was saying, she's like, my daughter has Tourette's. I'm very sorry. She might bust out some words. Like she didn't say she's gonna drop the N-word on you.
Like she has subconscious racist impulses, and they might come out now. Like that's what Tourette's is.
My daughter is a closeted racist with Tourette's. She may say some things within the next 30 seconds that are very controversial, but she doesn't mean it.
Bro, but isn't that like Tourette's? Like you say the first thing that comes into your head.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And she was dropping like the N-word in front of this lady. And like Ray, she was telling her, she was like, oh, okay. And she's like, hit her with it. And she's like, gave her the side. And the mom started like laughing. And it was just very awkward. It was like awkward, such a cringy ass video, bro.
Okay, Spongebob Conspiracy.
I was thinking though, I came up with this thing, I think I said it one time to my girlfriend, and she thought I was the most insensitive person ever. And I didn't really think it through when I said it, but I thought it might have been a kind of funny concept for like a skit or something. I was like, wouldn't it be somewhat funny if you had a friend that had minor in control of Tourette's? You know what I'm saying? So every once in a while it would be an accident, but he could also tune in when he wanted to do it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Ben with the cancer thing.
No,
where you like make you feel that, you know,
the shit out of it when he
so
needs
then
to.
you know exactly. So then like when you wanted somebody to just yell something real funny that one time, you could do it with absolute immunity.
Bro,
is what I was thinking.
No,
and
honestly,
my girlfriend was like, "You are so insensitive. These people are not trying to say these things." Da, 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 da.
Nah, bro, she just got no imagination. If you can picture that in your head in the event, it's inevitable.
I turned into Dave Chappelle. I said, "Bitch, who was you talking to?"
All right, bro. Okay. Let me know about the SpongeBob conspiracy.
All right, so in 1940s, they're testing nuclear, all the nuclear bombs and stuff. There's this island called Bon Bikini, I believe it's called, which is very close to Bon Bini, which we were talking about with the ashtray in that game. But it's called Bon Bikini, I think. And they nuked it and they tested it. And the idea is that SpongeBob and the rest of them are nuclear beings, and they all came to life and like underneath the ocean and started building their own things.
It's like a radioactive.
And that's why all their cars and the way they dress are all 1940s, 50s era. Like, it might have been the 50s that they were testing stuff. But anyways, all 50s era, cars, buildings. Like, I guess the buildings are all kind of ocean things, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. The way they dress is very like 50s, and like the way they speak too. And the whole idea of it is they're documenting it.
Right.
Humans are documenting the nuclear. There's the narrator and the yes, exactly.
It's the original format of like the Office type style of show,
I guess is the idea, but like, what is good with these kid shows with the mind fucks?
Bro,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're pulling them out of their ass.
Yo, and even like Disney movies and stuff, you always hear about like, did you ever see they spell like sex in the sky or something like that? Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's something like that. But like, it's like all these weird little subliminal things that are, I don't know. It come out of the woodwork later on because people go on the internet and shit and they get in rabbit holes. But
dude, seriously, like the way that Frozen and one other movie go together, where like Elsa is like the missing whatever from another movie kind of thing, and they have the. Speaking of that though, this is the the Dark Knight. I wanted to show you this. Pull up the so if you just look up on Google or Brave or whatever, Dark Knight, Heath Ledger in background of dinner scene, maybe? I don't know, that's a little vague and long, but I was watching it the other day. It was a little bit longer than the other day, but I rewatched it the other day. And when I first saw it for the first time, it was a couple months ago. I was watching it with Liv, we were sitting on the couch, I was like, that's Heath Ledger right there in the background, I swear. And they were eating dinner, and they had like the dinner scene, and yes, just pull up the restaurant scene, we'll keep it on mute.
You want me to just go for the video?
Yeah, can you pull up the video?
Yeah.
We'll just put it on mute. So in The Dark Knight, Christian Bale comes out of his... Bruce Wayne comes out of his Wayne Manor, and he comes to go eat dinner with Harvey Dent and Rachel, who's like his love from the first movie. And they pull up, and he's with this beautiful woman who's the head of this Russian ballet orchestra or whatever, and he's acting all smug here, and he's, talking his shit because he doesn't fuck with Harvey Dent because he's trying to get with her. And then he's like, you mind if we push tables? He's like, I don't think they'll let us. They should. I own the place. And they push the tables together. And then, it's the part, like, right when they sit down, it's coming up right here. Right, ready? Okay, so, watch. It's panoraming like around the four of them at the dinner table. Now watch. Wait for it. Right there. There he is.
Where? Right here?
That's him. That's the Joker. Head? Yeah, dude, that's the Joker.
What do you mean? It's the back of someone's head.
That's the Joker, bro.
What do you mean?
Okay. Now look up the Joker from the movie. Oh, no, hold on. Keep going. No, keep watching it for a second. There might be a clear cut. Because I'm pretty sure there's a clear cut of his face. Or the idea is that he's just there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's him, dude. Look up like a picture of him from the movie and look at his hair.
Images.
Who is the Durst? I guess it's more estranged in like all the Joker shit.
It's all greasy and nasty, it's
yeah.
green.
But that's what his hair looks like in real. Oh, no, go to that
Back of his head. Something.
Yeah, there was one with the back of his head. You want to exit out of this thing so it goes back to like the. It was on the left side, maybe a little bit up. There was one of him like kind of standing sideways.
Oh, this guy?
Yeah, that one. See?
No, bro, I'm with you.
And it's the purple suit.
Is it? Let me go back.
Might have been more of a blue, but it looks kind of purplish.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That'd be pretty fucking cool.
Well, okay, then go back. Then go back out of this. Or let's watch to the end of it. Let's watch to the end of it. Just see if there's
another
angle
angle
part
or
of it.
something.
Yeah,
Sneaky angle.
Because there was a picture of it up there. I thought he was on the right side for some reason. Maybe it's like a flipped for the YouTube video.
Yeah, probably.
My father was a drinker and a fiend.
The all-time best Joker performance, in my opinion.
By far.
And then you immediately had, like, what's his name?
Fuck. Show the side of his face. See? But look at also the fucking behind, right there, the symbolism when he's doing the Harvey Dent. She's like, with the Batman doing it to Harvey Dent and with the Joker there in the background.
No, I'm with you.
It's like he was in on it the whole time. He knew everything from the beginning.
They do a good job of making him some sort of like evil, diabolical mastermind. But like, I don't know, man. That's a little bit. I don't know if I can take your word on that one.
Well, go back then. They go back to the images because there was an image that showed it. Yeah, see right there. Third one.
Oh yeah, no, I feel you. Someone's at least sussing out the same vibes.
Yeah, where's this picture of his face coming from though? See this picture of his face?
The Joker ledger observes Bruce.
It must have been like right at the beginning of the scene.
Yeah,
we must have missed it. Yeah.
Because that's definitely Heath Ledger.
That's definitely Heath Ledger, and that's the hair that you see from the other side. So this is what I think you might have been at the beginning, like before they pushed the tables together,
like walking in or something.
Dude.
Yeah, hold up.
It's right there. I told you.
That's fucking crazy,
I told you, man. I told you. He's sitting right next to them, dude. He's sitting right there next to him.
Dude, he was so young. Why
what
did he have to die?
Bust of a movie, man.
Holy
this is crazy,
fucking
man.
mindfuck.
I know, dude. What the fuck?
I'm so sorry.
He's sitting right next to Heath Ledger, or sitting right next to fucking Harvey Dent.
Ray, who cares about all these people, bro? Just show me that.
And then they moved the table so he's behind them.
Right.
And they were sitting right there.
Bro, that was fucking cool.
Right?
Man.
Isn't that
That's good
crazy?
Shit, man. Good catch.
Thank you. I was watching on this, and I saw that angle. I knew I saw his face. That's why I was like, he was on the right side, not the left side. That's what I was saying. I was like, I thought he was on the right. It's literally the first second of the scene. He's right there. I was like, because when it goes over from scene to scene, I was like, that's Heath Ledger. And I paused the movie. I was like freaking out. My girlfriend did not reciprocate the energy.
No, that's Heath Ledger, man.
Yeah.
That's undeniable.
Right? Isn't that fucking
I should have doubted you, brother. That's good shit, man.
Yeah, it's nuts though. He did go too young.
Yeah, because he was a method actor, right?
Yeah, he locked himself in the hotel room until they got the Joker down. That's why he
did like just crazy amount of drugs.
Yeah. Well, so the way he died was he was on some sort of depression medicine and one other medicine for something else, and they weren't supposed to be taken together. And his sister was like, "Yo, don't take those things together." And he's like, "No, don't worry about it. I'm fine." And then he died the next day.
That's fucked.
Yeah, that's very sad. We're gonna go take it a break though, and when we pick it up, Franco, you had a movie thing too,
I do,
right?
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of a conspiracy movie thing going on. Yeah, we'll catch you back from break. Before we begin the podcast today, I just want to take a second to talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor for PTP is Flippin' Ships. Flippin' Ships was founded by CEO Jason Reynolds during late quarantine, and Jason is in the business of providing you with entertainment. Whether you're looking for a restored boat in great condition you can take on the lakes, or if you're interested in watching the process go down, Jason's got it all. His TikToks show the process in an entertaining way for all ages, but check out his YouTube videos because they show every detail of the flip. Check him out on TikTok and YouTube for some at-home or on-the-go entertainment. His handle is Flippin' Ships. That's flipping without the G, ships. And be on the lookout for these flip ships soon on Facebook and Instagram. Well, dude, there's a scene at the end when he catches him and, he's like, the immovable force meets the, whatever. He's dangling from the thing. And right before he does that, when he's, barred to the fucking thing, he's like, you wouldn't think I would risk this whole thing on a fist fight with you, would I? And he's like, it was like, what a genius plot. It was like, the whole thing was all based around the ferry and finding the Joker and all this, but the whole time, he just wanted to flip Harvey Dent on his head to show the city that even the best people could turn rotten.
Yeah.
But that turns back to the shit that we were talking about earlier, where these people like Tom Hanks, you think is the best person in the whole world. So it's like, hard in your heart for you to think about something like that.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not saying that Tom Hanks actually killed that guy or had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
When you hear something about somebody like that who's supposed
someone
to
who did do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Or like, it's fucking,
indisputable.
It's indisputable that in the public eye that he shouldn't be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why like you don't see it on. It was crazy that wasn't on Google.
Yeah, no, honestly, that it wasn't a little bit more.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There was nothing on Google when we looked at the Tom
That
Hanks.
was at least interesting, bro. Yeah. Hold up,
dude. Were they at a UFC fight in France?
Yeah. So it's actually UFC.
Dude, that's Tank. That's Tank Abbott.
Yeah. So this guy.
I don't know who this guy. I forget who
this guy is a character from the show.
That's fucking Oh, dude, John Favreau.
Yeah. But so he's like a rich guy who wants to. He conquered the world.
Yeah, and he's like, I want to do MMA.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Like, I want to conquer the physical realm too. And he gets his ass kicked. But fucking a young Bruce Buffer.
Dude, that's fucking Dan Margliotta.
Yeah, bro, but it's nothing. Oh, what? Show me fucking Bruce Buffer, you fucks.
It was at the beginning, I think. I think we missed it.
Well, there should be more then. Because you did like a whole thing. Shut up, bro. Look at him. What a
Dude,
guy,
that's
bro.
awesome.
Yeah, dude, immediately I was like, Colin's gotta see this, bro. He's like 35, something like that, right? Something like that right then. He's 90, 95?
What is that? Almost 30 years ago now? 28? Yeah, I'd probably say right around there. How old is Bruce Buffer now?
Let's find out.
He has a little bit of gray hair there, though. Got that
True.
salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. He's definitely dying it.
All he care about is money.
65. Yeah,
So, yeah,
30 years ago. 35.
37, 35.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but I immediately thought of you, bro. Fucking.
Dude, that's crazy. I never seen that episode.
Yeah,
I remember the
young
episode
UFC.
like must have been right before that where the dude's like, I want to do MMA. And she's
Right.
like, what the fuck?
Well, in '95, wasn't UFC wicked controversial?
Yeah, so actually, hold on.
Like,
I
literally,
have
not
all
even
these
legal. in
DVDs so we can
certain-
find out when the first one was. I bought
Oh,
UFC 1.
Let's bet. Let's go.
It's right here.
You buy them all at the same time?
Yeah, I bought this lot on DVD. I bought this lot of UFC DVDs, 16 of them for $15.
So this is '94. So if this,
Yeah.
assuming,
So it must have been within the first 5 UFCs.
yo, let me look up when that episode came out. UFC.
Well, because they still, it's cool that they do like they let like the filming happen within the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always thought it was cool when they did shit like that. Like a halftime
97.
of
97.
97 is when they filmed it.
Yeah.
The
so
one
that's
with the
3 years
Ultimate
in.
Fighting Championship. What promo, dude? Holy shit.
No, I know, man.
Genius idea.
Yeah.
We'll just get promoted on this film and on this show because they asked us and they wanted us to do it, most likely. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
and they're probably cheap too because
Yeah.
they weren't fully established
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
to the point they are now.
Well, I read this thing that so Dana was trying to get a deal with ESPN. Now the ESPN's old previous CEO, or I forget what title he had, but he ran ESPN. Was a coke addict, and he seemed like the squarest dude on the face of the planet. Like, can you pull it up for me? Like ESPN head caught with coke or whatever. He was against the UFC. He was like, no, I will not give them a contract on ESPN. Da 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 da. As UFC's contract is, John Skipper. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm sorry, he didn't even get busted with coke. This guy is such a square that he found out he was going to get busted for coke and told everybody.
He's getting ahead of it.
Yeah, he was like, I think my dealer's gonna help me, is what he said. And he's like, I'm gonna go tell the heads at ESPN, and they're like, you have to step down.
Yeah, no shit.
So like, point of the story is wait until your coke dealer outs you as a fiend.
Because then isn't he also outing himself as a coke dealer?
No, he's yeah, I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
bro?
outing out a fiend who's one of one of the biggest organizations, and then he's also outing himself as a coke dealer.
Yeah, so if I'm this guy, I'm fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, call his bluff, bro.
Yeah. Well, that was even in my head at the beginning. I was like, well, I'm not doing it until I get busted. Like, especially if it's like only drugs. Like, if I murdered somebody, I would be like, all right, I killed that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless I was.
But that's what I'm saying. Drugs, it's hurting no one but you. I guess there's an argument that it's propping up like some black market.
Hey, I don't know if there's cameras out there, but I just smoked a blunt. It's like, okay.
Yeah, why
nobody
you
would
just knock yourself out, bro? Yeah.
It's like walking into the police store after you like steal a bunch of stuff and just walking into the police station like, I stole all of it.
No, yeah.
You didn't find out yet, but you will tomorrow when you open the store.
But it is funny how certain people draw lines in the sand.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I'm gonna do all the coke in the world, but
ultimate fighting is too much.
That
can't be on
violence.
ESPN. Yeah. Which is
violence.
odd because like I feel like he would just want to do blow and then watch free fights.
Yeah,
dude. Just like rip a
I'd imagine there's nothing better
bro.
to watch. No sport that's better to watch.
Just rip a trench full of fucking, white Columbo, and then you just turn it on, you see Chuck Liddell fighting Randy Couture. Like, oh shit!
Yeah.
When is this? What's going on?
Now he's stuck paying pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, now he's stuck without a job, first of all. He's got no job. And after that happened, Fox's deal was up with UFC. And then this dude gets busted within like the month or two that their deal was up. So then this guy's out of there, and the new guy was like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll take UFC on."
Yeah.
And then they got to deal with ESPN.
Well, dude, it's stupid not to. At this point in time, it's got more traction than boxing does. You know what I'm saying? It brings in more money.
Yeah, dude.
They pay their people less, but that's also because they want to keep the talent more in boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean? Boxing pays less?
Boxing pays more.
I would say boxing definitely pays more.
Yeah.
But
that's because they have less viewership, so their assets are more needed to be kept. So they don't want to give them an opportunity to go to a different place.
That, and it's also like the idea that the fighters aren't much bigger, but the promotion for that one fight seems much larger than UFC does for each fight, because for them it's kind of like, fucking, we need this, or this next fight is gonna be shit, or you know what I mean. For the UFC, it's like people are gonna watch it every single time. We'll do the same promo we did for Izzy, then we're gonna do for the next fight, and then we're gonna do for the Cejudo versus Sterling, and we're gonna do the same promo for all the fights.
Yeah.
And the people are gonna come just based on the merit of the people fighting, and based on the fact that they just fuck with it.
Yeah.
Let alone like Jake Paul versus Tyson Fury was like fucking hammer Tyson. But dude, Tyson.
There's
Jake
something
Paul
to be said, bro. That Jake Paul is the fucking biggest boxing event in modern history.
It works.
You know, it does, but it shows that people don't fucking care about boxing. That you need a YouTuber to come in and spice the sport again. You know.
Well, you do have
not even fighting boxers.
I find a lot of older people. It's a lack of interest within our own generation of when we grew up in a generation. If you're into that shit. Because, like, you find that, I find at least, that you'll be like, you watch UFC? And people are like, no, but I fuck with that.
Yeah.
Most dudes, I feel like,
you'll see clips on your shit.
Most guys, most people I talk to that are men usually don't, or men in that are into sports. So let me combine the two, people who like sports and are dudes. And you say, like, you watch the UFC? Most of them that are either like, no, but I fuck with it. Or they're like, yeah, a little bit, I fuck with it. And then they spit off some, like, older names. Like, they're not really, like, as
bro, where boxing can be kind of slow, UFC is undeniably entertaining throughout it.
Yes, but to my point was that fucking, like, you ask any of these fuckers about, like, boxing, they're gonna be like, what? But you ask old heads about boxing and shit, old heads know everything. And they're like, we'll still be keeping up with today's boxing. Who's great today? Canelo, Benavidez, fucking Floyd, obviously.
Yeah,
shit like that.
But like to your point, younger generations like myself, I couldn't name 5 boxers. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't fill up one hand.
I say me too. I have very limited. But you talking UFC from the beginning? Like I feel like I know everybody.
Yeah, no, and it could. Do you think it's partially because we had the option to watch either boxing or UFC, and they didn't?
That's exactly what I was saying. Was the idea that, like you were saying, where it's just inherently more exciting. Yeah. There's no way that you could watch a boxing fight and just tell me that that's more exciting than a fight where all
unless
rules
you're a
are
boxer
barred,
and you like the technical stuff.
Exactly. Which I do like a lot. I love watching when there's the stand-up.
But it's
shit.
more of a small niche group compared to UFC. It's just entertaining.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have a little bit of testosterone in you.
Like I was saying with the people, it's like they don't fucking watch. Like when we have people on, like Smitty doesn't like keep up with the UFC like that.
Don't.
Like he does. I don't say. Like, even you're the perfect example. You like I'd be like bring shit up to you and you'll be like I don't. It'll be like a champion. You'll be like I don't know.
But it's fun as fuck.
But when we watch it, you're fucking like into it and you'll react the same way that we all into it. It's any dude. It's just the fucking nature of man, I believe. Or women who are into, that kind of shit. Into, having armpit hair. But if, you just put a bunch of dudes in a room and put on a fight, they'll start watching the fight.
And they'll interact with each other,
what I meant to say from the beginning was when I was like, the people who don't watch it, they're still into it, I've only met a handful of people where I've been like, you watch the UFC? Like, nah, it's too violent for me.
Yeah.
That's a dude. It's like, what the fuck you mean?
And truthfully, usually you can see that coming when you're talking to a person.
Yeah,
like, yo, I know you don't, but...
It's like, you don't like anything. It's like, those people who just don't like shit.
Yeah.
I work with the dude.
Well,
he's a nice guy. I like him a lot. He just doesn't like shit that people like on purpose to not like the shit that most people like.
Bro, my girl's the same way. With certain, like, rap groups or, like Brockhampton, she won't listen to Brockhampton ever, no matter...
It's too mainstream.
Yeah, or just because, like... There's like mainstream, but then there's like the alternative mainstream where people who aren't supposedly not participating in the mainstream become their own mainstream.
Yes, no. It's like it's the like indie thing right now with like people where they're like, no, that's too mainstream, but then they're all into the same thing that's not mainstream, which makes them their own mainstream. Right. Exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, 110%, bro.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it's just like it's counterintuitive, bro. These people think that they're like. But that's also just how society progresses.
Yeah,
that's how culture progresses.
It's like in the example of Brockhampton, it's like, no, I don't fuck with Odd Future, but I like Brockhampton.
Deadass.
I don't rock with Tyler the Creator, but like I rock with Frank Ocean. Yeah, and it's like
bro, you're saying the same thing.
Yeah, you're really talking about the same shit. Yo, I don't fuck with like the color red, but I like a dark orange.
Yeah, I'm big into maroon, but I'm not about blue and orange.
I'm a red guy, but I don't like crimson. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's the same shit.
No, 100%, bro.
But yeah,
it's some bullshit.
It is some bullshit with that.
All right. I didn't write down for Bruce Buffer, but let me talk about this thing.
Bruce Buffer was straight out the gate, so like 31 probably.
Yeah, 31.
We're talking time status, people.
But all right. So this is something that I heard about in my class. My teacher. So I'm in an urban studies class. It's a liberal something or other.
Which I want to say, I've been meaning to say it on the podcast. I hate when fucking people. I was watching it was fucking Bad Barbie, and they were like, oh, the people were trying to Bad Baby, whatever her name is, and she was like, they were like, you see, people are trying to accuse you of like transracial shit. She's like, I ain't trying to be no of myself. I'm just urban, and I was like. So you want to be black?
Right, so
like,
what are you saying?
Because news channels use the word urban for black people. Or like anybody...
Urban culture.
Any minority in a city. Anybody who's not white.
Culture.
Exactly,
yeah.
And so like when I heard that, I was like, what the fuck? Like everyone keeps saying urban. So when you said urban studies, I was like, is this like an African American studies class and they just couldn't use that, like African American is banned now? You can't use that word anymore?
No. I have no idea. But it revolves around just like culture in cities. That's basically the idea.
Okay.
That is largely African American culture.
Yeah.
But
actually, can you spit that white shit that
you're
saying?
Yeah.
What was the name of it?
Okay, so this is the story of white flight.
White flight. Can I distinguish the story?
Yeah, absolutely. So white flight is the basic idea that as industrialization happened and factories needed more workers, people started to condense around cities, and that means white people, black people, because there was no cars to be able to go there back and forth. But as suburban areas started to develop around the same time of the development of like cars and the train systems were getting bigger, all that stuff. It was easier to commute. The white flight aspect is when white people who were economically ahead of the time, even though black people were no longer slaves, they had the economic opportunity to settle these suburban areas, establish their own culture, and then commute because they had the money to do so.
The commute was easy if you had the money.
Right.
The
You can buy a car, you can buy
had
gas.
the finances to do so.
Right.
Exactly.
And impossible if you didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You had to stay in the city to work.
Right. And that means you were relying...
Hence the urban.
Right, and that's why like cities are usually set up for like walkability and stuff like that because it's relying on the person who can't just.
Well, I always thought that was the coolest part about a city is that you could just walk at your front door and I could oh, I'm walking to work. Oh, I'm walking to the gym. Oh, I'm going to the game. Or I'm going to my boy's house. Or we're going to wherever. I could just walk right to wherever I need to go to bring me to that destination.
100%, but it's also expensive as fuck. You know what I mean?
That too.
So it's like what you're not paying for with a car, like not being able to walk everywhere, you're paying for it in other ways. You know what I'm saying? But all right, so this guy was trying to build
this guy.
My teacher, my urban studies teacher. He's a good guy. He's whatever. But it's so this thing I have on the screen right now is men to women in the U.S. population. So like 51% of the population is women, 49% is men. So it's a majority woman. But Congress is 72% men, and women are 58%.
Oh, so they're like misaccurately represented within Congress.
Right. And he was trying to build to the conclusion, or have us naturally come to the conclusion, that the patriarchy is still here, still strong, and it needs to be taken down. Yeah. And I'm not saying that that's not the case. I don't want to interject any of my personal opinion on this, because I just want to point out the imperfectness of these statistics and how you're bringing you to a conclusion that is based on not real information. Because
where did this come from? NBC?
This is a news thing. Yeah. This is
I could see this on
NBC
TV,
News.
On
right,
the news.
Right. But my point out, I raised my hand. I was like, "Sir, I have a question. Since the population is 51% women and men is 72% of Congress, doesn't that mean that women are voting for men? And that women are then perpetuating the patriarchy. So how can you then blame men if it's being perpetuated by women?
Well, was his thing saying that like not enough women are running because they don't feel that they'll get the vote?
Well, he didn't even want to go, because that's where I wanted to bring the conversation.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring the conversation to what percentage of actual voters were men and women. You know what I mean? Because that would matter.
That statistic actually does matter.
Right, but this is just people finding things, numbers that people don't know where they came from, and then putting a conclusion in front of you and saying that this proves that conclusion.
This is a statistical version of just chopping up somebody's words. Anybody could chop up what we just said throughout this podcast.
Make us sound terrible.
And make us sound like the worst people.
And again, I'm not, I would argue that the patriarchy is here. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I would just say that it is wrong for them to walk you there.
Not show a third row of statistics that say how many women voted and how many men voted, the percentage of men that voted for the women.
And the reason why is because my teacher is the perfect example of someone who will take that and then run with it. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then learn and build their understanding of the world outside of that based on that assumption.
Yeah. Well, so when we were talking about, you were talking about Dave Chappelle on the last podcast. So I went on a deep Dave Chappelle dive, like right after you left. Actually, what happened was I walked out that day and Adam Sandler was getting the Mark Twain Award, which is like the highest award in comedy. Yeah. And Dave Chappelle got it.
I saw that special on Netflix.
So I went back and I watched that one, and then I watched the whole. Yeah, I just changed it up. Try it. This is the strawberry cereal, or something like that, or cereal milk, or cereal milk. So I watched the whole Dave Chappelle collection or whatever. I hate how they've changed it from like each stand-up to episodes within each one. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's also like, what the fuck did you guys do? You know?
No, I feel that.
Anyways, he has this one where he says, doesn't it kind of taste wild?
It's weird, bro. Yeah.
He has this whole thing where he says like he's never knew the whole definition of feminist, so he looked it up. And it's just anybody who believes in females should have equal rights and equal pay and everything. And he's like, I'm a feminist. Like just like that, plain flat out. Like, I believe.
I would agree with that.
And I'm saying, and I would 100% agree with that too. But then I also feel like that there's like an ultra. There's like a different word for it now. It's become something else within community.
What I think it is you only hear people who yell the loudest, and oftentimes the people who yell the loudest don't have the ability to back up what they're saying.
It's true.
So like you're hearing the people who are have the most emotional response to something. Yeah. And it gives you a different perception of what something is. Because I started to have like oh, like, is feminism, I started to understand it as like a radical thing.
That's
you know
what I'm saying.
what I
Until I
mean?
heard that, and then I was like,
Right.
oh, if that's the definition of the word, I looked it up too after. I was like, I have to really
Right.
fine tune this.
And then I'm like, shouldn't we all be feminists?
I was like, I was my first reaction was, I am a feminist. You know, I believe that women should have all the same things that men do. I mean, and then but then my whole life, I've just been thinking the feminist was just this ultra like fucking hard, you know, Karen with the short hair with a picket sign, you know.
Well, bro, it's because the feminists who yell the loudest oftentimes tell men that they are pieces of shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not actually depiction of how most people feel. You know,
Well,
but so myself, I'm speaking from my experience, you start to resent that radicalism.
Yeah.
You know, and it gives you this different understanding.
Well, I see a lot of radical masculine.
Yeah.
Ism, and that's not the word. Like just
like
masculinity. Yeah, but more just like honestly, just blatant like sexism, where it was just like they'll be like, it's somewhat comedic because I find humor in a lot of things where they'll be like, 98% of porter potty workers are men. Women want equal rights. Like we should even this out. We should be working for our daughters to be porter potty workers and. Say 69 or it was like 70% of plumbers are men, and it was just like listing like all of the worst professions that there are. It's pretty much saying that they all are man, majority by men, and that we should be pushing women to get into that for equality purposes.
To that point, so you know, I'm gonna get flack, and if people actually watch this, but you know the whole like 70 cents to $1 statistic.
That they get 70 cents to our dollar. Yeah.
So that is an imperfect statistic, similar to this.
It's like accounting for the higher paying jobs that men get that women don't do.
Well, it accounts for the dangerous jobs that get high paying because they're dangerous.
That's what I meant. The ones that
right.
Exactly.
And like porta potty workers,
just
you know.
a way of like making my words a little bit better. When I say it, you're like dangerous jobs, and I was just like ones that women don't want.
No, but it's true. Both are true. You know what I mean? Like because they're both broadly, and there's other jobs that are high paying that women don't want. You know, that aren't dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just like how people represent statistics. So the first thing that they taught me in my statistics class is that the human mind is not evolutionarily built to do statistics. It doesn't work that way. You're using like theta pi, all these different weird bullshit things that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes it so when someone throws a statistic at you and your mind doesn't understand how they got to that, you just assume they're correct.
It's like the minus. Have you seen that video of the kid where he's like, they're trying to get me to x is equal to 0, which is also equal to -3. It's like, so you're telling me that -3, which is less than nothing, and 0, which is nothing. He's like, you want me to compare jack shit to fuck all? Like, what do you want me to do? He's got a point. It's like, what the fuck does that mean?
No, I feel you, bro.
And that's a different sense, but with the statistical thing, there's always some sort of missing third column, or you know what I'm saying, so to speak, of where there should be this thing that's misrepresented within the statistic that you didn't go for because it's pushing
like a
your
disclaimer
narrative
on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the amount of non-biased statistical like representations of especially political shit probably fucking none, bro.
Right.
Because NBC is trying to fucking push a narrative here by putting up this statistic, and Fox would do the vice versa.
Right. Well, and a lot of these people, they're pulling them from actual papers. And that paper, if you go to it, will have that disclaimer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they're just like the same ideas, these little like clips that they do of people to misrepresent what they say. They grab a little clip of the paper. Yeah. You know, and then misrepresent it to fit their narrative.
Actually, so I took this sports literature class back in the day. I mean, to brag or nothing, but they weren't supposed to. It wasn't supposed to be underclassmen, but I got in there as a sophomore.
Hey.
And I had to get fucked with me, and I ended up winning an award there, bro. And it was the fucking funniest thing. You know how Lunenburg does the awards at the end of the year? Our high school does the awards ceremony, and everybody goes in. I think it might have been even a half day, or it's a half day because of the awards. Everyone goes into the auditorium. Each class has a set amount of awards. They'll go out to the students. Mr. Hannigan had one for sports literature. And he literally, Matty Arpano was videotaping a video of this guy having the nicest speech about me. Meanwhile, me and 6 other people all got dismissed from school and called out before the awards because nobody told me I was getting an award. So I just fucking left. I'm out on the boat and smoking weed out on the lake. And I get a video and I'm watching it as I'm smoking. And it's Mr. Hannigan. This is a great boy. He's got definitely a future in sports literature. Da 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 da. Doing this whole thing, gives me an award, and the
Crickets,
bro. The whole place is silent, and you just see his like face fucking turn, kind of like sour, and like, oh man. And there I am out in the middle of the lake smoking weed, being like, this is supposed to be,
Bro.
you know what I'm saying? Anyways, we're in sports literature class, and they used to do this thing where when Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz and stuff, that's just an example, dated further back to like Roberto Clemente and like some of the first Hispanic baseball players to come over, they would quote them word for word on their English. That was broken English. So then they would publish in the journal, in the newspapers and shit, just this slop of English. To just make them seem uneducated, to make them seem like they're not. I mean, you know what I mean? It was a very
100%.
biased way of reporting it. It's the same thing with the statistical thing.
idea,
They're just like, you know, you could have fixed that word or added a letter onto the word that he didn't know had the letter.
Paraphrase.
Exactly. Just paraphrase the whole thing. That's what they do now. People
100%.
broken English and they're just fixing all the words. They don't seem like they're illiterate pieces of shit. They're just playing sports.
No, 100%.
So like when people weren't like dumb as fuck, and probably like had something to say or was trying to say something for like, the first time entering the league, and they just botched the whole thing, give like a whole biased view on this guy because he's from somewhere else.
No, 100%,
crazy.
bro. There's so many examples of like when they fucked shit up back then, and then we're picking up the pieces now. Like we've talked about examples of it with the marijuana industry.
Yeah, the hemp guy.
Yeah, with the whole like newspaper bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
And fucking like the conspiracy, the root of conspiracy. Now we're seeing the cultural repercussions of that, where we're questioning everything. You know.
Well, it's the same thing with when Reagan became, was it Reagan or Nixon, who made all of like LSD and all that stuff that made it all Schedule 1.
It was Reagan. I could be wrong.
I think it was Nixon, because Nixon was like 68 was when he was elected, and then he got reelected in 72. And I think that was when, you know, who had a lot of LSD, put a picture. The governors of Nevada and California in 1966. President. Yeah.
Nixon. Yeah.
So previously it wasn't a Schedule 1 drug.
Right.
So like you probably just get fined or, you know, whatever it was. I don't know. I don't think you get thrown in jail.
Honestly, it could have just not been recognized. Like it was literally made in a lab. There's hallucinogens being made now.
This is another movie thing, or it's a TV show. It's a little less significant. He discovered LSD on, I think his name was Hoffman. He discovered LSD on April 19th, whatever year, 1930 something, 40 something, when he was doing the experiments on the lab, and he touched the shit on accident, and he went on a bike ride.
Yeah.
And he made it to a bridge, and he started tripping out balls, and it was like, what the fuck, right? And it's bicycle day. And then, have you ever seen the show 13 Reasons Why? It's kind of random. Yeah? You know how Clay rides the bicycle, and his name's like Helmet and stuff like that? The end of the second season or whatever, when they have like the funeral, April 19th is the day. It's bicycle day.
Oh.
That's like the name of the day because he rode the bicycle with the acid or whatever. And like it goes bicycle day and then 420. 2 days in a row. So it's like a national, you know, take acid the first day.
Yeah, hippie day.
Yeah, like a hippie like, little weekend.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably the middle of the week and most people do have jobs. So
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Fuck them jobs.
You want to wrap it up here, Franco?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's do it.
We'll leave the Nashville thing out. You don't want to hear what
we
we
don't
got to
need
say
to talk
about it.
about that. We don't have any like fucking anything to add.
No,
so
I got
it's just
nothing
miserable.
good to say about that. People out there, we love ya. Smell y'all later. Keep on polluting them airways and believe in yourself, son.
Peace.
Deuces.